Hello world! Flipper Zero scammers want your crypto, the Ring doorbell swatters have been identified, and the FBI was hacked. That's all coming up in today's roundup of cybersecurity tech news. There's zero chance you haven't heard about this thing, the cybersecurity pen-testing Swiss Army knife, otherwise known as the Flipper Zero. Armed with an array of wireless hacking capabilities, including NFC, RFID, Bluetooth, infrared, and more, the Flipper Zero can do quite a bit. Having gone viral on TikTok, of all places, there's a plethora of videos showing people wreaking havoc, turning off TVs in public, reading credit cards, and there's even custom firmware that can hack some cars. And of course, it can run Doom. But nothing the Flipper Zero can do is new per se. I mean, devices that can spam IR codes to turn off TVs and RF tools that can open cars have been around for years, but having all these capabilities on one small, noob-friendly device that also features dolphins is definitely new. And this has made it rather popular. I mean, to say it's exploded in popularity over the past 6 months is kind of putting it lightly. According to Google Trends, more people are currently searching for the Flipper Zero than the RTX 4090. This has all made getting your hands on one a little difficult. Unless you're willing to pay scalpers triple the retail price, you just ain't getting one. I mean, I don't even have one yet. This has all created a ripe opportunity for scammers, and now there's a new phishing campaign which uses the Flipper Zero as bait in an attempt to scam you out of crypto. It's taking place on Twitter, where an array of fraudulent Twitter accounts have spawned. Some of these fake accounts are really quite believable. I mean, take this one. The username looks pretty much identical to the legit Flipper Zero account, but if you look closely, and I mean really closely, you'll notice the L in the Flipper is ever so slightly thicker than the genuine account's L. That's because it's not an L, but rather just an uppercase I. It's the kind of thing you really need to zoom in on to see, and apparently Elon himself is aware of this problem with Twitter's font, but nothing has been done about it yet. The modus operandi of these scammers is to reply to real Flipper Zero comments threads as if they were the genuine Flipper Zero account, the only discernible difference to the genuine account being the lack of verified status. And people are unsurprisingly falling for this, unwittingly responding to their scammers, leading them to their bios, which encourage people to visit their fake stores, where you can finally get your hands on a prized Flipper Zero. Unfortunately, some of the stores, and fake Twitter accounts for that matter, were scrubbed from the interwebs before I could get my screen-grabbing hands on them, but one is still live, and just so happens to have Flipper Zeros in stock. The site is even kind enough to offer free shipping, but they only accept crypto payments, for, well, obvious reasons. In addition to the campaign on Twitter, there's also reports of Instagram bots messaging people who follow the genuine Flipper Zero account. Of course, scams like these are quite low level and not usually a problem with cybersecurity stuff because people in the community tend to be rather security conscious. So something tells me these scams are more so targeting the people who'd use a Flipper Zero to turn off the displays at McDonald's. Amazon's Ring doorbells have a rich history of controversy, and now cybercriminals have found a new use for them: swatting. This did initially make headlines a couple years back. Hackers, who made false 911 calls, would watch swatting events unfold via their victim's Ring doorbell. In one swatting spree, which lasted only a week but saw a dozen people swatted, the miscreants used the hacked doorbell to scream naughty words at the police officers, all whilst live streaming the whole thing on social media.
Yo, what the? Hello?
There was no financial motive, it was all done for the lulz, and the perpetrators seemingly got away with it. Until now. 2 people have been charged with this swatting spree, and court documents explain just how they managed to pull it off, the details of which will surprise no one. You see, there was no vulnerability in the doorbells themselves. Instead, this operation began with Yahoo. The duo acquired without authorization the username and password information for Yahoo email accounts. And there have been a few Yahoo data breaches, enough to warrant a whole Wikipedia page on them, but these breaches are old and well outdated by now. It's most likely the miscreants just bought a bunch of accounts on the dark web. After which, they would check if there was a Ring account using the same email and password combination, and if there was, well, the owner of the doorbell was going to have a very bad day. But hang on, Ring introduced mandatory 2FA back in early 2020, so how was it possible to breach an account with just the password alone? Well, one of the 2FA methods is a code sent to your email, so go figure. If you needed another reason to create unique passwords, well, here you have one. After the duo swatted a dozen people in a 1-week span, their campaign abruptly ended. Presumably our perps just got bored. And speaking of, what do we know about the alleged perpetrators here? Well, our first respectable fellow, Christian Nelson, otherwise known as Chumlol, just so happens to already be locked up on unrelated charges. As for the other guy, it looks like he's made a bit of a name for himself in the SIM swapping world. In his group, he was the holder, as in his job was to physically keep the SIM cards in his possession. A risky job. And it seems he managed to make a few enemies along the way, apparently defrauding his associates, one of which even put out a hit on the guy, asking in a Telegram group if anyone lives near his address and wants to do a job, offering up to $50,000 in Bitcoin. And whilst you might think this is just an empty threat to scare the guy, I mean, we are on the internet here, violence as a service is actually a thing. It's become a popular way to exact revenge in SIM swapping communities. There was even a case just a few months ago of a SIM swapper being abducted, beaten, and held on a $200,000 ransom. There's a video of the guy bleeding out with guns to his head. It's pretty gruesome stuff. But why does SIM swapping see this kind of thing? Well, I imagine it's because it's one of the few cybercrimes that has a physical IRL component. The crime doesn't exist purely in cyberspace. But luckily for our miscreant, he won't have to worry about being kidnapped, at least not for a while, because there's a good chance if found guilty, he'll land a pretty lengthy prison sentence. The FBI has been hacked, and whilst this did happen a little while ago over Christmas, there's been a few plot twists that I haven't seen many people cover, so I thought we'd take a look at it. So the FBI runs a service called InfraGard, a partnership for protection, they say. It's essentially a private club for US critical infrastructure companies, things like energy, healthcare, emergency services, and so on. The FBI uses this league of organizations to communicate security threats, and members can also use it as a kind of private forum. You'd think this kind of thing would be invite only, but no, anyone can apply to join it. Well, at least you could, before it got hacked. The application form asks for things like name, social security number, where you work, your job title, so you'd expect this would all be for due diligence, with the FBI heavily scrutinizing every application. But it appears not, because a bad actor got in literally through the front door, filling out the application form using the identity of an unnamed high-profile CEO. The FBI believed who he said he was and let him right in. Once in, the miscreants discovered that InfraGard has an API that helps InfraGard members connect and communicate with each other. So in order to exfiltrate all InfraGard members' details, the miscreants just wrote up a Python script and queried the API, retrieving all InfraGard members' data. It really was that simple. Which brings us to the sales thread on breach forums. The bad actor, who goes by the name USDOD, put the trove of data containing details on 87,000 members up for sale for $50,000. But whilst forum members were pretty impressed with the breach, no one, it seems, was willing to stamp up that kind of cash. I mean, if you look at the sample data, it isn't really all that juicy. You do have names and email addresses, but that's about it. More sensitive data like social security numbers just weren't queryable via the API. So at this point, it probably dawned on the hacker that the small amount of money they could gain from a sale probably wasn't worth the wrath of the FBI hunting them down and the years in prison that would inevitably follow if they were caught. Which brings us to our first plot twist. The thread was updated with a notice saying, "This data will no longer be posted for sale and won't be used in the future. I realized that selling it would cause more harm to everyone than it would benefit me financially. I have emailed Troy Hunt to add all emails to Have I Been Pwned, so that all InfraGard members can search and see if they were affected. Plus, I don't want to cause any more trouble." Changes of hearts like this aren't unusual, we see them all the time. The most recent example being the miscreants behind the Optus hack getting cold feet after the FBI joins the hunt to find them, prompting the miscreants to renege on their $1 million ransom demand and delete all the stolen data. But back to the InfraGard hack, and we're treated to yet another plot twist. The miscreant changed his mind yet again, this time posting the data publicly, with forum members able to unlock and download it for 8 credits, equivalent to roughly $2. This video was made possible by Octopart, a website I've been relying on over the last few years in my electronics business. Octopart.com is essentially your component sourcing Swiss Army knife, making it simple to keep tabs on component stock levels in real time throughout a range of distributors, which is pretty important given the current component supply situation. You can also easily grab datasheets and CAD models for components when you need them. The best part is, it's free to use, and Octopart is integrated right into Altium 365. If you want to give Altium a go, you can find your free trial link in the description. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.